Yeah, so we start every day at the hospital that's run by the GPs, and we see a few of the inpatients there. Sometimes might see some ED patients if there's anyone. And then we'll come down and do a parallel consulting session with some of the doctors, have a few study sessions during the week as well as some specialist sessions. So that can involve anything from gynae clinic, gynae theatre, surgery lists, paediatric sessions. It can be anything really.
The day-to-day for us usually starts with a ward round in the hospital that's run by the GPs. Usually we get to see a few patients with them. Then we might have like a parallel consulting session or a study session, and usually we get one specialist session a week. We're visiting specialists to the area, and Tuesdays and Thursdays we have teaching. I think for me, one of the highlights is the continuity of care that you get to have with the patient. So for example, you might see someone in clinic with the doctor, and then you might see them again in hospital. So I've really enjoyed being able to get to know them and I guess follow their clinical journey. Other highlights have been getting to see babies being born, and that's something new for us in 5th year, and that's been really exciting.
I have really enjoyed the on-call and ED exposure this year. I think having some time in the ED with a little bit of independence but also in a very supportive environment has been really good for all of our confidence, and just being able to work up a patient from start to finish, as well as some simple procedures like suturing and casting all the way up through to resus situations. So that's been a very eye-opening experience but also really good for our confidence.
Yeah, so we spend the whole year with them. I spend Thursdays with the students, and that involves programming their year to some extent with the administration team, so organising their specialist sessions and their time in the clinic and the education that we do. So that's a combination of more traditional tutorials but also simulation sessions that we run every 3 weeks. So they're a lot of fun, and I think the students really enjoy them. So I'm involved in that organisation but also the actual delivery of teaching.
Day to day, generally they're here sort of 1.5 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, sorting out any issues that they might have, planning teaching. It just depends on what's happening during the week.
So I was really lucky. I actually did my whole of my 5th year at the practice that I'm back at now, so at Anguston Medical Centre, but based in the Barossa. I had an absolutely amazing time in my rural year. I really enjoyed it. Not only, you know, the broader clinical practice that you get to see and the fact that it's coming up every single day, you're seeing more broad things rather than kind of blocking it all together. But also I think having that longer term clinical mentorship was really good. So developing really nice relationships with the doctors that I was learning from. And so then being able to come back and see all those people again and link in with those connections has been really good, and would definitely sway me more to coming back to the place that I know and the mentors that I've followed.
From the point of view that living in a rural community, you realise how limited the resources are here, and that some of the things you don't get here, it's more accessible down in Adelaide. And also the program being here for the whole year, you get to meet the students at the beginning of the year and see how they grow throughout the year, with the hope that they'll eventually actually choose rural as their main focus once they become a doctor.
Yeah, so the opportunities for anaesthetics, pain and intensive care do vary throughout our sites. To use Barossa as an example, our students are here with us for the whole year, and right the way through the year they'll be in theatre with experienced GP anaesthetists doing lots of hands-on things. So meeting the patients beforehand, being involved in the pre-anaesthetic assessment, the cannulations, getting to do airways, including perhaps even intubating patients, and then looking after patients afterwards. And that's within our hospital system, also within our labour wards and the theatre. So they get lots of opportunities for hands-on experience for anaesthetics and for intensive care. Yeah, so throughout the year there are a range of opportunities. So in O Week, students get the opportunity to be involved in some anaesthetic skills, particularly around IV cannulation and airway management. And they also get opportunities to practice advanced life support skills, particularly with a rural focus. We then have opportunities throughout the year for ongoing scenario-based simulation across all of the courses. So not only anaesthetics and critically unwell patients, but also with obstetric and gynae patients and paediatrics as well. In the mid-year we all come together and have a week with focused training, and a lot of that is simulation based, so opportunities across all the courses in lots of different environments to interact with mannequins, simulated patients, and practice the skills and teamwork that we'd like to build throughout that training program.
Definitely, I would definitely recommend it. I think for me, I really enjoy spending quality one-on-one time with the doctors. I think that's one of the best things you get to do. So I think for your confidence and your learning, that's really great. And I've also really enjoyed making some new friends up here as well.
Yes, I would absolutely recommend going rural. The support from the ARCS staff and the Barossa staff from all the GPs here is amazing, as well as the one-on-one time that you can spend with the doctors is really valuable, getting little tips and tricks on how to improve and what you're doing well, so that's been really good.
Any opportunity to go rural is fantastic for students, but particularly the longitudinal program of having the whole 12 months out in rural is a really unique opportunity to form relationships with experienced clinicians and to integrate knowledge throughout the different courses and the different environments. There are so many more opportunities for hands-on experience with patients compared to metropolitan hospitals where medical students might be at the back of the queue. Here in country, our medical students get to be front and centre and get to do a lot of those really engaging and sometimes challenging things with senior clinicians right next to them.
So I think going rural would be a really highly valuable experience for really anyone throughout their medical school. I think we get, so much exposure in the hospital experience, which is great. Getting to get your hands on and do a lot more practical skills, and I think also having that longer term mentorship is such a massive difference. So feeling like you can actually build a relationship with your clinical mentors and for the people supervising you. My consultants actually know who I am when I'm rural, which is so nice.
I think it's really nice to see the students change over the year. So seeing them grow from being potentially still quite fresh in regards to clinical work, although they've obviously had 4th year already, but seeing them kind of put things in place and develop that real clinical reasoning that's so important for them going forwards. I love seeing that, seeing them from that kind of point at the start of the year where they're pretty good, but seeing them at the end of the year doing mock OSCE cases and putting things together in great detail is really wonderful to see.
Probably the one thing that it's a highlight for me would be the festival parade. So the banner's actually here behind us. They dress up as scarecrows, and that really immerses them in the community, and they start at either Tanunda or Newry and walk from town to town. So I think that's probably my highlight, and I go and I'm a traffic marshal for the day. So again, it's kind of getting me out in the community as well.
There's so many opportunities to get involved, and early in the year I'd say get involved with everything. Well, you might not feel that study's as important. Obviously it's important all year through, but engaging with the community, trying to get involved in sports clubs or art clubs, whatever it is that you're interested in, really engaging in your clinic and everything that they do. So going to the hospital for ward rounds, going to Friday night drinks if that happens, going to clinical meetings, all of those activities I really want the students to get involved in and engage in. I think the other important thing for the students though is supporting each other and engaging socially with each other, because you're having a shared experience in a new place, and for some of the students it might be their first time living away from home. So being a support to each other is so valuable, and I think a really important part of having a good year.